So you're very welcome. I can see a number of people from all over, mainly East Africa. You're very, very welcome. We are going to start off in the next 3 or so minutes. And so I would request that you, if you can, you could rename yourself to show the country that you're logging from, so that we see how spread we are in terms of the attendance. So just go to your name and rename and put your name and the country that you're logging in from. Other than that, I welcome you very much to this meeting. As you all know, it is a strategy launch session. And so I would love and I would be interested in knowing, by the time you're done with the next 2 hours, what is it that you would want to learn from or about Uwezo Uganda? We're interested in knowing what your expectations are. And then after that, in the next 2 minutes, we can now move into the session itself. Otherwise, you're welcome. Please keep on putting that in the chat. Thank you very much, Mugoya, Paul, to learn about innovative approaches to reach marginalized land. Very good one. We'll be reading others as they come in. Just keep on punching that into the chat box. You are all very, very welcome. Thank you very much for those of you that are putting your answers in the chat. So as we said, please introduce yourself by putting your name, the country and organization that you're working in. Thank you very much, Irina, to understand what has changed from the previous Uwezo strategy. I hope that will be covered. Solomon Sebule, I think this is really keen to understand the key priorities and approaches outlined in Uwezo's 25-28 strategy and learn about the latest data and evidence Uwezo is working on, I believe. Simon Kagwa is one of us, is one of the conference moderators. He's happy to be part of the conversation. Good one. So thank you very much. I think we could start from there. I believe we have enough people. We are now 46. And so I believe with that, we could start. Yes, good. So my name is Modern Karema. I'm the Uganda Country Director for Star Education. I'm also a member of that's Really Africa, which is where both Star Education and Uwezo represent Uganda on the board. And so it's totally my pleasure to be with you today to moderate this session. As you all could be knowing, organizations operate on strategies. And so as we come into this session, the understanding is Uwezo has been operating on a strategy that is most probably expiring today. And then from now going forward, 25, 28, there will be another strategy that will guide how Uwezo will operate, Uwezo Uganda will operate. And so the expectation is that by the time we are done in the next 2 hours, we have an idea of where Uwezo is going, and therefore for the bigger part of us who are into civil society, and government and every other partner will know how to relate with it after knowing the direction that they are going to take. So that's what we hope to do. And so all the speakers that will be interacting with us for the next hours will be trying to make us understand what is the direction that Uwezo Uganda will be taking for the next 4 years, and therefore how can we relate with Uwezo Uganda. And so to start us off in understanding where Uwezo is going, it would be none other than the chair himself. The chairperson is represented by a board member, Dr. Charles Lusambu. And so it's my pleasure now to invite Dr. Lusambu to come and give the opening remarks on behalf of the board chair for Uwezo Uganda. So over to you, Dr. Lusambu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear members of Moscow, government representatives and members of parliament participating in this event. A guest of honor, people joining us shortly. Honorable James Kubekateria, Chairperson of Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports, and Honorable Rabusheza Margaret Namubiru, Workers Representative, Dr. Grace Baguma, Director, National Curriculum Development Center, Dr. Cleophas Mugenyi, Commissioner, Basic Education, and Acting Director, Basic and Secondary Education, the Directorate in the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Uwezo Board and Technical Advisory Committee members, Uwezo Uganda management and staff, our colleagues from all civil society, including Uwezo Uganda, district partners, organizations, Very African Pearl Network member organizations, and all others from within and outside Uganda. Members of the media fraternity, distinguished partners, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Tony Mukasa Lusambu, a member of the board, retired commissioner for Ministry of Education and Sports, and I'm standing in for our chairman, Professor Otaro Bosa, who has not been able to join us due to equally important and pressing matters on his part. It is with profound honor that I am here before you today as we launch our second 4-year strategy. I warmly welcome you all and thank you for sparing time to join us as we celebrate at a milestone our organization. This moment marks not just the continuation of our journey, but a bold step forward in our unwavering commitment to improving the quality of education in Uganda. Together, we walk this journey from as far as 2009, when we were programmed under Uwezo East Africa, until 2020, when we became an independent organization, which is now Uwezo Uganda. Even the global COVID-19 pandemic had no capacity to stop us moving on. Together, we still figured out how to connect and ensure that the country remained afloat with the creative ways that ensured the continuation of learning, the challenges notwithstanding. We then reignited our efforts to support the continuous recovery of the sector, and we are proud of all the progress registered thus far. This is the second strategy for Uwezo Uganda as an independent organization, and as a growing and learning entity, this would not have been possible without you, all of you colleagues. For the previous 4 years and the whole year of the new strategy development, many of you joined us in the implementation of the previous strategy and the consultations and the co-creation workshops for the new one, shared your expertise, and walked through the journey with us up to today. It's our practice to analyze what we have done, disseminate it, and also provide recommendations accordingly. We thank you all immensely for the insightful feedback that has enabled us maintain trust by citizens, the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Education and Sports, and our colleagues in the civil society sector, both within and outside the country. Some 17 years ago, to be specific, 2008, before we became independent, but as a program under Uwezo East Africa, we shot a very historical question. Some of you may be able to remember when we asked, are our children learning? Many stakeholders in the sector have grappled to respond to this question, including the Minister of Education and Sports, the partners, and so on. The question still persists, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are seated and listening, can you allow children learning? As we talk today, they are in school. Are our children learning? I'm here today to unveil a bold and shared vision, promoting support for quality education for all, with the challenges that we face and opportunities therein, including but not limited to a very young population, whereby 65% are under 25 years of age, underfunding of the education sector, low transition and completion rates at various levels, low learning outcomes, especially the foundation and life skills. The journey, though promising, remains a long one, ladies and gentlemen. Yet these challenges also present opportunities. Yes, indeed. Opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and meaningful change. Just to mention a few. As a learning organization, we shall consolidate the gains from the previous strategic period by generating rigorous evidence in collaboration with actors at all levels of the system to shape policy and practice change. We shall engage as much as possible. We shall consult as much as possible, as well as participating in various educational activities. We'll work hard to deepen collaboration by co-creating initiatives that have proven to work and mobilize the network of our evidence users to jointly work according to a set of shared principles. Ladies and gentlemen, in case some of your expectations will not have been achieved by the end of the 2 hours of this session, please don't lose hope. Continue learning with us through our contacts. Make sure you get to the gist of learning and ensure that our children can be able to learn and thrive. Learning is a continuous process from conception until we die. As I conclude, I wish to emphasize that this strategic plan is not just a document. It is a call to action with clear objectives and emphasis on how we remain accountable to you. But most importantly, we will continue to place the children of Uganda at the center of all our efforts. Every decision, every initiative, and every partnership will be driven by the goal of ensuring that every child in Uganda receives quality education. We therefore invite all of you, valued partners, to journey with us on this continued path towards ensuring that the Ugandan children learn and thrive to their best. I thank you very much and wish you God's blessings, our children, our future, and our future, our children, for God and man.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Lusambu. I think I've said that before, he's a legend in the education space in Uganda. And so the comments that he gives, the remarks that he gives are both out of that background, but also as a member of the board, today representing the board chair for Uwezo Uganda. I don't want to go through everything he has said, but one good thing that I think he has brought on board is one, the history and the transition from Uwezo to Uwezo Uganda. Very importantly, the question that Uwezo has been handling for all the time that I've known them, our children learning, because it's one thing children being taught, it's another thing children learning. So I think that's the question that he has posed all of us that are on the call. Are our children learning? In Uganda and I believe in other East African countries, the term is on. So the children are at school, but are they learning? So that's a question that we need to think through, and that's a question that Uwezo has been handling for all the time that they have been doing these researches and everything, all the work that they do. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank all of you that have given your feedback in terms of your expectations. And the person who's going to answer your expectation is Goretti, but just to check in the chat to the question, what would you want to learn from Uwezo and about Uwezo? Isaac Otai is interested in learning the new approach of intervention that Uwezo is innovating in enhancing its impact on literacy and numeracy skills. Let me check out for another one. Andrew from Kukuza is here to learn. Fiona, volunteer opportunities. James Ulrich is interested as a contributor, is interested in getting feedback about the strategy. Reg Allen from Tasmania, Australia, has long admired Uwezo and the contribution it makes to children learning. Good one, thank you very much, Allen. Richard Kajura wants to understand Uwezo's contribution to the changing curriculum. That's a good one. Isaac Angulu from class in Uganda wants to understand the new strategy in improving learning. Who else? Fiona is passionate about community empowerment, girl child education, and women empowerment. Thank you, Fiona. Joseph Lampo from Kimanya wants to learn from Uwezo's research. Let me see. Yes, research and there are recommendations for improving access to quality education. So that's the background that you're coming in, Dr. Goretti. I hope you can touch on some of these. And so I think I want to hand over. I hope there are some, of course, that I believe you want to handle because this is a strategy session. But that is really the background to what the people that have logged in would want to learn in this session. So I want to hand over to Goretti to now take us through the overview of the Uwezo Uganda strategy, the 25 to 28. So over to you, Goretti.
Thank you very much, Modern. I hope everybody can hear me. Good morning, everyone. We thank you very much for joining us today as we launch into a new, as the board chair said, a second strategic period for the organization. So I'm here to just give you an understanding of why we do what we do and give you an overview of our strategic work for the period 2025 to 2028. So one of the richest people in the world recently noted that the children do not ask to be born. So therefore, as individuals, as families, or as a country, when we support them to grow and learn and thrive, we are not doing them a favor because they didn't ask to come on planet Earth. And like that actually children also don't choose the families in which they are born, whether the families are rich or poor, they just find themselves there. They don't also choose the sex. They choose to be a boy or girl, they find themselves with that sex. They also don't choose the geographical location, that I want to be born in a poor district that is located in a rural area or a very wealthy one. They find themselves there. So for us as an organization, we come from a premise that all children, actually, because they don't choose to be born, they don't choose where they find themselves, we have the responsibility as society to ensure that we give them opportunities to grow well, to learn, to thrive, and maximize their potential on this planet Earth. We also know that education is an enabler. Very many instrumental people have talked about it, how it is powerful to enable equalized society, people like Nelson Mandela. But we also know and agree, and I'm sure you believe and agree with us, that for that education to make a difference, it has to be of good quality. And that is why we have this simple tagline in our strategy, promoting support for quality education for all children, because we know it's only quality education that is going to equalize children who don't choose to be born, they don't choose where to find themselves. It's us as society to give them the opportunity to learn. As an organization, we are very small. We don't have much money. We are not a government entity to reach every child. That is why in this strategy, we emphasize the issue of collaboration, because we know that it's through working with others that every children can be impacted to have that value of benefiting from a quality education. The board chair has talked briefly about our history. Just to re-emphasize a bit for those who may have not joined, we are a non-profit organization, but very evidence-focused. We do assessments, learning assessments and research, mainly to inform policy and practice. Our history dates back from 2009 as a program of Uwezo East Africa here in Uganda, but Uwezo East Africa started in 2008 as part of Uwezo East Africa, starting off in Kenya and then gradually coming to Uganda and Tanzania. So since 2009 or 8 actually, we were operating under Uwezo East Africa, which focuses on issues of open governance, but also the quality of education. And in 2020, we all became independent in our respective countries, independent as organizations that are focused on education. And so in Uganda, we are Uwezo Uganda. In Tanzania, we have Uwezo Tanzania. But in Kenya, they took on a new name, Usawa Agenda. So we recognize the presence of our counterparts in Kenya and Tanzania. So, but we continued, even when we became independent, we continued and broadened our previous focus on evidence generation and use. And I think in all our respective countries, we are very renowned as organizations that produce independent data that informs the education sectors. So this is our second strategy as an independent organization. Our first strategy ran from 2020 to 2003, and the board gave us an extension of 2004 because also we know what happened in 2020 and 2021 because of the closure of the system, but also to give us time to learn from what we have been doing and develop a new strategy. So the strategy planning process took a period of 1 year. We were not so much in a rush because we really wanted to produce a strategy that we believed in, that resonated with us, but that we believed could make a more impact on the quality of education such that every child in this country benefits from a quality education. And in that process, we consulted a number of stakeholders at district level, at national level, regional and global levels. I think you have seen some of our colleagues connecting from all the way in Australia, the UK, who have been part of this process with us. And these are the key in our strategy consultation. So we started off with an outcome harvesting workshop in November 2023. So to try and harvest what is it that we have learned and what is the contribution we have made. We had a series of strategy consultation workshops bringing together different stakeholders. We had preliminary consultations with the technical advisory committee, and we appreciate many of them are online. We had reflections internally. We had reflections and consultations with our board here, represented by a number of them, but here in the office, we are here with the chair, represented by Dr. Lusambu. And then we had a final consultation with our technical advisory committee. We have about 13 members on our technical advisory committee, representing different sectors. And we consulted with them. So the final strategy was approved in November 2004 to help us to develop our new strategy for our annual plan for 2025 based on the new strategy. So ideally, actually, in reality, our current annual plan is based on our new strategy. So yes, we are launching it now. Yeah, because that is the opportune time we have got, but the strategy is being implemented already. My screen is off. Share again. So I don't see it share. Okay, I'm sharing. Can everybody now see my screen? Oh, I hope so. So that is the journey we traveled. This is the bit of a context. At the end of this strategy, this event, you get a chance to connect and see the details of our strategy. But the context in which we are operating, just a few bullets here. Uganda has a very youthful population. The recent census, a report that was produced at the end of last year, indicates that 60% of people in Uganda are below the age of 25 years. There's inadequate funding for education. For example, whereas globally the expectation is that each country should at least dedicate 4% of its GDP to education. Uganda is at less than 3%. Less than 4%, like 3%. We have low literacy and numeracy learning outcomes, which have stagnated and somehow regressed. For those of you who joined our launch of our recent report that we launched at the beginning of this year, based on a learning assessment that we conducted last year. So we still have, for so many years since we started, we still have like 90% of children in primary 3 who cannot read and understand a simple text that is actually at P2 level, not at P3 level. Even by primary 7, our recent assessment shows that about 23% of these children, even by going through 7 years of primary education, even when some have repeated, they cannot read and understand a simple text that is at primary 2 level. So the low learning outcomes are glaring in our face. The low levels of life skills acquisition. Our joint report that we produced under the Regional Education Learning Initiative, life skills and values assessment, indicated that actually, for example, for problem solving, only 2% in Uganda of the children assessed between the ages of 13 to 17 could be said to deal with real life problems and find solutions to them. So limited support for foundational learning, and so on as you read the strategy. So this education situation presents challenges for us, both for the research and for the advocacy elements in the work of Uwezo for the next strategy. And because we mapped out these challenges that have informed the new strategy. So what have we learned from the previous strategy? So our first strategy as an independent organization ran from 2020 to 2023. And then we had 2024 for learning and documenting and in preparation for new strategy. So what we got right is that we came to learn is that rigorous evidence is critical in driving systems change in education, and that our evidence influences actors at all levels in education. Our partner organizations play a vital role in creating local change. So we got that right because we have been one of the key producers of evidence that is independent to inform to inform planning and actions in education. So what could have been done better? So we had somehow an inadequate monitoring and evaluation approach. So outcome harvesting started a bit late. So we took a bit long to document what we had learned to inform the new strategy. That is why we took the whole year to try and consult and talk with our education district partners and so on to document what we had learned. We also fell short of using explicit use of our values and principles. So as organizations, we always choose we have our values and principles, but sometimes they remain on the walls. And so the kind of reflection that we did, we found that we could have used more explicit use of those values, but also being intentional on building community of district partners to maximize impact. So when we harvested outcomes that we had achieved in the first strategic period, we actually found that most of our district partners actually had used our evidence to create more impact. For example, using the evidence to source for more local funding and so on, intervening in the way schools were teaching and so on. So we needed to be more intentional. And here we can see here we have a partner in Shema. So we want to be a little bit intentional to involve them so that we maximize that impact. So looking ahead, we are saying that we need to be explicit about our niche and call, which is about evidence generation, curating it and using it to influence policy and practice. We also are mindful that evidence influence will not come about by disseminating findings. It also involves facilitating a collaborative approach. So in the strategy, we want to deliberately and intentionally collaborate with other actors, including government, civil society organizations, and other researchers to maximize, to try and cause the impact that we are looking for, but also mobilizing a network of Uwezo evidence users to jointly work according to a set of shared guiding principles, including working with universities and other researchers to make use of the evidence and do other research that could, other research and actions that could improve learning outcomes. So in the new assessment, in the new strategy that is running from 2005 to 2008, we have our theory of change informed by our vision and mission. So this is our vision that we started off in our first strategic period, a society in which our children are learning and realizing their full potential, because children, as we started off, they don't choose where they are born. So it is our duty as society to ensure that their potential is realized. So we are continuing with that vision. And our mission is to promote support for quality education for all through assessment, research, engagement, and influencing in collaboration with other stakeholders. We want to be deliberate by collaborating with other stakeholders, because including government entities, other civil society organizations, other researchers, and we are glad that we have quite a number of people connecting to this unveiling of the strategy. We look forward to working with them to ensure that we cause the change that we want for our children. So this is our theory of change. Pretty complex. You see arrows going in different directions, because also ensuring that every child is learning is not a simple matter. It's a complex process. So starting from our long-term vision, which is the impact that we want to see, is that all children are learning and realizing their full potential. And how we are going to do it, we do it through our core areas of work, which includes learning assessments. Many of you who have been following our work, we have been doing learning assessments through research and through engagement and influencing deliberately, that those actually translate into learning of every child. So, and to do that, for that work of assessment, research and engagement to have an impact, we need some kind of evidence uptake. And here we are deliberately wanting to work with our partner organizations, both subnational and national level, and other relevant evidence users to engage with the evidence and also undertake some actions based on that evidence, actions that can improve learning outcomes. So we also would like to have other Uwezo and other users like universities, independent researchers using Uwezo evidence to do further research and reporting, non-Uwezo research and reporting on it. We are very happy that in the previous strategy, actually, we encouraged deliberately locally some universities like Chambogo University, Makerere, Motesa, to make use of the data so that it can be used widely and inform practice. So the desired outcomes that we want here through the use of the evidence is that the media plays a very big role, very, very big one. That media broadcast some of those messages in support of quality education. Sometimes actors actually listen more to media than even researchers, and that all actors at different levels commit to taking action, practice or policy changes, and that development partners and policy actors financially support actions towards the delivery of quality education. So we hope that through these desired outcomes, then we could also have policy actors approve policy changes in support of quality education. But we also believe that, and that is why we put this last box of desired outcomes on local actors, because local actors such as parents, teachers, schools, community groups, and local teachers and local leaders, that they would change their educational practices is through changing their local practices, educational practices. So, for example, teaching at the right level, that you don't just teach children, you ensure that you know where they are to support them to catch up, among others. That it's after that local change has happened that we can be sure of all children learning and realizing their full potential. So is undertaking learning assessment. We shall continue with assessments of life skills and values in partnership with our counterparts in East Africa and beyond. We would want to continue with issues around writing and assessing writing and so on. So we also have a pillar on research, researching on what might work to improve learning outcomes, for example. So we could be here, for example, struggling with children not learning well, but there could be, for example, people in very remote areas making children learn. So one of the research areas that we are looking at is the issue of positive deviance. Are there some people in unexpected areas who are ensuring that children are learning? So that is research that is ongoing, research around disability, research around, there's some emerging areas like artificial intelligence and so on. But the third pillar is really most of all about engagement and influencing. So because we know that evidence alone, unless it is utilized, it won't cause the change that we are looking for. So a lot of our work is around in engaging and influencing right from the household level, at district level, at national level, and at global level. Are some of the engagements that we shall be doing. But we also have some cutting areas, issues around monitoring and evaluation, organizational development, because we know unless we are a strong organization and in collaboration with others, that we cannot deliver on the goals that we have set. We shall also be guided by shared principles, and we call upon all our partners, both at subnational and national level and global level, to have these shared principles as we engage with each other, issues around treating all children as equal, because children don't actually choose, like we said at the beginning, they don't choose where they are born and where they find themselves when they are still young. So we need to give them the capacity to ensure that they all grow and maximize their potential, understanding the context, prioritizing lasting practical changes. It is very possible to do boutique kind of small scale interventions, but can we strive for large scale change? That is a bit practical to impact on all children wherever they are, working evidence-based, such that we are not just looking at hearsay. And this is where we're encouraging partners to make use of, and governments, to make use of the evidence that we produce as an organization, but what we utilize, what we produce in partnership with other organizations, or what other organizations produce. We're looking at developing appropriate content for different audiences. It's very easy to think that when you produce a report, it's a scientific report, that everybody will understand it and read and take action. But looking at packaging evidence or content in a way that is understandable by the different audiences that we are targeting, and being prepared to adapt. I think the world learned a hard lesson during COVID-19, that we can't just walk in a straight line. We need to adapt. Who knew that COVID-19 will change the status quo in a very big way? So being open and changing course as the situation demands is very important. Collaborating based on trust and mutual respect. So we know that as an organization, not even government actually can ensure that every child is learning. So collaboration matters a lot, but we need to do that based on trust and mutual respect. So for us to deliver on this very pretty ambitious plan for 4 years, we are looking at almost close to $7 million US dollars over 4 years, which translates to about $1.7 million US dollars. So it's ambitious, and I think probably it's even much lower, depending, given the kind of ambitions that we have. But we hope that we can raise those resources. We do have a very lean secretariat. We have like a maximum of 10 staff, full-time staff. Yet we reach actually nationally when we do our assessments and engagement. We want to reach at national level. So that means partnership actually plays a very, very big role here. So we shall be looking forward to partnering with individuals to deliver on the promise for every child. So as I conclude, the journey ahead is very long and bumpy as expected. Ensuring that every child learns and realize their full potential is not a simple task. As an organization, we have mapped out some potential risks and some prevention and mitigation measures. One of the risks that we know, for example, the funding space is shrinking. Even national governments, many of them are still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. For organizations like us who depend 100% on donor funding, the funding space is shrinking, among others, increasing insecurity, displacements in different areas, issues of refugees. Those are risks that we need to mitigate. The strategy that is almost close to $70 million is partially funded. So we are still fundraising. We hope that we shall get it. So if you are there and you have, you can support by championing our work, for example, and so on. We have a lean secretariat. We are looking for fundraising. So we're really inviting, we're looking for collaboration rather. So we invite you to be part of our journey. We thank you very much for joining us as we officially unveil this strategy. We hope you can be continue to be part of our journey to promote support for the best possible education for all our children. You can champion our work. You can offer technical support or advice. You can partner with us directly in terms of doing research, doing assessments, but you can also directly fund our work directly, or you can link us to the different funders. So we thank you very much, and we look forward to working this journey together. So the new strategy that is about to be unveiled by the guest of honor can be accessed using that link or the code. We shall show it later after it has been unveiled. And you can also continue contacting us using our X of Facebook and so on. Thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Goretti, for those wonderful remarks and for officially presenting to us the new strategy 25-28. I believe lots of learnings that we can all take from this, the review of the whole new strategy and what we can learn, and very importantly, where is Uwezo Uganda going, and therefore how can we work with them. So I think it has been a very wonderful presentation of the new direction that Uwezo is taking going forward for the next 4 years. Just in case you have any question as to what Goretti has just said, I think we could put it in the chat. We shall get some time maybe later on when the questions could be answered. But I believe if there is no question, we could just proceed with the next activity. So I'm going to do some flipping of the agenda. I will request the Secretariat to just make sure there's some breathing between the strategy presentation and now some more work to be done. Let me ask the Secretariat to play for us the video, which is the entertainment that we have today, as we now plan on how we move forward. Some of you should be knowing Furaha Africa. Those of you that attended the last assessment report launch, they did for us some great work. And so they are again here to entertain us a little bit and make us breathe as we plan on going to the next part of the session. So I'll ask the Secretariat to play for us the video by Furaha Africa. We breathe a little as we now both reflect on what Goretti has presented and as we plan going forward. So over to you, Secretariat.
Children are learning and realizing their full potential. Through Uwezo's unique position, we have continuously expanded the network of development partners who use our evidence. In some districts, various local problems were prioritized and addressed with the help of our evidence. These are engagement of parents, and its strategic benefits include improved academic performance. Children with engaged parents tend to achieve higher grades, score better on tests, and are more likely to pass classes.
Oh, you're doing homework?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Oh, by the way, what do you want to become in future?
Me, I want to become a doctor.
A doctor?
Yeah.
Teacher.
A teacher?
Yes.
Do you know what it means to become a teacher and a doctor?
Eh?
Yeah.
First of all, you have to be hardworking. You have to be a good listener in class. You have to be a polite student. You have to be very humble to your teachers. Listen to your parents. Listen to elders. And put in a lot of efforts in your education.
For the teachers and administrators, treat children equally while at school.
What is this stupid boy? Run! Run! Come here, Andrew.
Use age-appropriate language.
How can you fail such a number, 1 plus 1, and fail such a number? Lie down. Lie down.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes?
I didn't.
Put your hands up. Why don't you be like your friend?
Communicate with children in a way they can understand. Provide equal opportunities to participate. Promote inclusivity. Be a role model for respectful and inclusive behavior.
Andrew,
Yes.
go with this one. She's going to teach you how to do that number. And before you go home, I did my work.
Okay, teacher.
Be a role model for respectful and inclusive behavior. Acknowledge that children have different learning styles, strengths, and challenges. Provide individualized support. Offer appropriate support to students who may need additional assistance, such as tutoring or individualized education programs. Focus on fairness, not equality.
I have a lot of work. Wait, what is the time? I'm supposed to be, if you read. I don't need to mark for those papers.
To deal with teacher absenteeism, create a positive school culture and environment. Focus on teacher well-being. Address factors like stress, workload, and lack of support, which can contribute to absenteeism.
Good evening, class. Today we are going to learn about core life skills. What? And first and foremost is communication. You have to communicate through different things. How? Through writing and talking. Another one is decision making. Here, you have to decide something to do by yourself, not by your parent. For example, I can say, what would you want to become in future?
I have to become a teacher.
A teacher. Good. You want to become a teacher. It's your decision. Another one is time management. This one goes to Andrew especially. You all your friends are in class, for you are outside playing football. You have to know time. If it is time to be in class, you have to be in class. If it is time to go for break, you have to go. Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Furaha, Africa. They always have a way of summarizing very hard work in just some 3 to 5 minutes presentation. They did the same in the last session that we had. So thank you very much, Furaha, Africa. With that breather, I think we'll now go to the official launch of the strategy for Uwezo Uganda. And I can see the guest of honor is already in the room. And I will waste no other time but to really invite you. The last time when we were together, we agreed that his name should just be shortened to Honorable Kubex because the pronunciation sometimes plays some of us from other sides of the country. So Honorable Kubex is the chair of the Education Committee, Education and Sports Committee of Parliament. He's also the MP for Bunya East constituency. And so I think I'll just pass over the mic and have the Honorable Kubex, who is also the chair of the sector that most of us work in, to do the official launch of the Uwezo Uganda Strategy 2025 to 28. So I'll ask the Secretariat to prepare and make sure that he has a mic in front of him to do that. So over to you, Secretariat.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ubeketeria. Now, whoever said Quebec, you can say Quebec. Quebec, not Quebec. May I start with the Honorable Member for the Workers, Honorable Rabshaja, Margaret Namuviru, who is Workers Representative in Parliament, officials from the Ministry of Education and Sports,
the chair and members of Uwezo Uganda Board, the chair and members of Uwezo Uganda Technical Advisory Committee of Uwezo Uganda, the management and staff and partners of Uwezo Uganda at all levels, the academic, the civil society, and all research institutions represented here, the media, the distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. So I bring you warm greetings from the Parliament of Uganda, and I welcome all of you to the official unveiling of the Uwezo Uganda Strategy 25-28. I wish to congratulate Uwezo Board of Directors, management, staff, and the other key actors involved in the strategy development process on reaching this defining moment in shaping the direction of the country's education sector. So the strategy is more than a document, and it is a declaration of your commitment to transforming lives through education. And at this heart lies a bold vision, promoting support for the quality education for all. And I'm sure here we have the Honorable Shaija, who is the chair for Quality Education Forum in Parliament of Uganda. Now, I commend Uwezo Uganda for the participatory and consultative approach that informed the strategy, which drew insights from stakeholders of this, at district, national, regional, and global levels. And this confirms that it is designed to address the key priorities and aspirations of learners and sector leaders. As you have noted, from the strategy context, Uganda has over the years recorded a high level of participation in the primary education. Of course, here you'll note that when it came to 1997, that's when Uganda took off in as far as UPE is concerned. And I think globally, we have been doing very well. So public education expenditure, however, has been persistently low by international standards, being at 2.7% of GDP in 2021, which is far from reaching the minimum recommended level of 4% for the Education 2030 framework for action. So the sector still contends with low literacy, numeracy, and life skills competences, limited support to foundational learning, with few teachers, no sustained funding for early childhood care and education as yet beyond the policy approval. Of course, here we note that when it comes to early education, we still have a challenge in Uganda compared to our neighbors. So this is in addition to other emerging issues like displacement, insecurity sometimes, technology, and artificial intelligence that ultimately affects learning environment and outcomes. So in a world that is changing faster than ever, we must equip learners, not just with knowledge, but with the skills, confidence, and resilience. And I'm sure here we are steadily moving when it comes to new lower school curriculum at the other level. So it is encouraging to learn that under the new strategy, Uwezo Uganda will continue to leverage its expertise through assessment, research, policy engagement, and influencing to spotlight the status of education and social, cultural, economic, and political context that support or impede quality education in Uganda, and work with its network of sector actors that use Uwezo evidence and influence practice and policy decisions and support the development of solutions from local to global levels. At this 11th Parliament, as the 11th Parliament through the Education Committee that I chair, we are keen to execute our mandate, drawing insights from the Uwezo Uganda strategy and its implementation. We recently scrutinized and presented, we didn't pass, we presented the National Teacher Bill 2023 that sets out to regulate and standardize the teaching profession by requiring a bachelor's degree qualification. I think here I note that this report was presented to Parliament and we are not yet gone to committee stage. And the contention is that there was a minority report where we did not harmonize. The minority report was against the view of the degree vis-a-vis the diploma plus some others. So that's where we reached a statement. But I'm sure when we resume, since the new session is beginning today, we are likely to go and look at those details. So here, I was noting that the Teacher Bill of 2023 sets out to regulate, I think that has been mentioned. It also establishes the National Teacher Council. We recognize that challenges in implementing this policy remain as the government has to contend with other pressing competing priorities such as security and infrastructure development. As Parliament, we are committed to leveraging your evidence and insights to inform legislation while highlighting the priorities of the citizens, especially basic education. So we recognize the need to prioritize financing of basic education inputs, including enhancing the quality and the quantity of teachers, capitation grants for public schools, and allocating resources to support early childhood education. I'm sure here the committee, that is its emphasis, that much has been spent at another level, but when it comes to early childhood education, there is little funding. So that has been the argument of the committee, that we need to step it up, because building this foundation will be a way of trying to reduce dropouts at certain levels. We also, as Parliament, as Committee of Parliament, specifically, and the Parliament more broadly, we shall continue to offer oversight to ensure that resources allocated to the education sector are efficiently utilized. As we head into the general election, there is an opportunity to make issues on access to quality primary education and early childhood education gain the requisite electoral appeal, including having commitment in the party manifestos and featuring them in a public debate to encourage the citizens of Uganda to hold their leaders accountable and make prospective leaders at all levels commit and demand that they share plans about how they will support quality public education. As I conclude, I wish to emphasize that this is not a strategy that should sit on a shelf, but one that should live through our actions in the classrooms, in the communities, and in the policy. I want to thank every one of you for the ideas, insights, and passion that have shaped this strategy. Your dedication reminds us that the future of Uganda is not just our responsibility, it is our shared opportunity. Let this strategy launch mark a renewed covenant to transform evidence into action, rhetoric into resources, and challenges into opportunities. Uwezo Uganda has lit the path, now the path. Now we must walk it together. May this strategy also propel us towards the Uganda our children deserve, one where every girl and boy learns, thrives, and realizes their boundless potential. Our promise as Parliament is to provide space and platforms for you to engage with us, especially during the budgeting process and as we scrutinize the ministerial policy statement. And here I need to add that Uwezo, well, we gave you an open invitation, but you haven't come. So we are going to really use the expertise to enrich our knowledge when it comes to security of the budget, especially the basis of early childhood or basic education. I thank you all for availing your time to witness to this event. I now hereby officially launch. Where's something I'm launching? Start the teaching while down. Because I'm not a lecturer, I'm a teacher. Huh? So I'd like to.
Thank you, Honorable. I will request the board chair, Honorable Rabusheja, and of course,
Yes.
Goretti, to stand with the chief guest as they launch the new
Yes.
strategy. I believe the secretary can give them some other copies to do that. And
So
then
can I
once
want
everybody has a copy, the chief guest can launch the strategy.
I now hereby officially launch the Uwezo Uganda 25-28 strategy. Thank you very much. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Goreta, I will ask that you remove that ribbon, otherwise the strategy is still wrapped.
Yes.
Good.
So this is the clear document that you have launched, and it's the strategy, and I wish you the best for God and my country.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much for doing us the honors of launching the strategy 25-28 for Uwezo Uganda. So we can now officially say that Uwezo now has a new direction that we'll be pursuing for the next 4 years, which Goretti has already presented, and therefore we know where we'll be moving to. So I don't want to go deep into the air. I want, first of all, apologize, Honorable, for calling you Kubex. You know, this period between June and the end of January, that's the only time when we voters disturb you. So I thought I would disturb you a little bit.
That one is from my students. Whoever I told you to add the S. So you must have copied it from my students. I used to teach in the soccer college in Moiri.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable, for that wonderful activity and for launching our strategy. So now we are sure that the strategy is approved and launched. And so we can now discuss what the strategy is about. And who is better placed to do that discussion other than our friend Simon Peter Kagwanjala, who I believe is in the room. SP is, of course, as most of you know, a journalist. He works with the Next Media Group, specifically NBS TV. And so Simon will be helping us run the panel of very wonderful gentlemen and ladies to discuss the strategy, the operating context, the challenges, and all that. So I just want to hand over to USP to take us through the panel. Over to USP.
Well, thank you very much, bro. What a moment. For starters, I want to introduce myself. My name is Simon Kagwanjala. I am one of the few Ugandans who can ably speak out the name of the chief guest, His Honorable James Kubeketeria. That's an advantage for me. But, well, it warms my heart to be part of this conversation that intends to uplift the level of education in the country. And many thanks to you, Uwezo.
Simon, you have muted. Simon, you are muted. Yes. You're fine now.
Am I fine now?
Very fine.
Okay. Well, I'm very glad to be running the next show. Quite a panel of distinguished ladies and gentlemen who mean well for the education sector of the country, and I'll be introducing all of them. We are privileged to have all of them joining us in the house. We have Honorable Rabushaija Margaret Namubiru, a very outspoken workers representative from the Parliament of Uganda, while at the same time she was very strong on matters education during the days when she was teaching and also holding out as the chairperson of the teachers movement in the country. We have Professor Anthony Mugaga, a very good friend of mine, is also joining us online. We have Mr. Raymond Obiai Ombere, the Arua City Education Officer. He's also joining us. We have Dr. Grace Baguma. Dr. Grace Baguma is the Executive Director of the National Curriculum Development Center. And we also have Mr. Patrick Kaboyo, the Executive Director, Education Advocacy Network, and a member of the Uwezo Technical Advisory Committee. I want to welcome all of you, and we'll just go straight to the question that Uwezo is posing. What would it take to ensure all children are learning and realizing their full potential? Remember, the lingering question that remains unanswered is, are our children learning? And it's from that question that we raise several other attendant questions. So I'll go first to Honorable Rabsheja Margaret Nambiru. First, for proper administration of time, I'll request that you make your submission in 5 minutes. 5, it's sufficient. Honorable Rabsheja, please take the floor. Welcome.
We thank the organizers, led by a powerful lady, Dr. Mary Goretti, and they also with me, with us here, we have Honorable Kubaketeria, and he has already been introduced in detail, so I want to do that. And, but I know that we have been working together on issues concerning quality education, and now also he is specifically leading us on the Committee of Education and Sports. The issue that we are talking about, which is very fundamental, our children learning, because to me, that is what tickles my mind all the time when I talk about my sister, the doctor, who is championing this very wonderful but also challenging topic, but also even the situation on the ground. We can say that the children could be learning, and that is the interest of every parent and every teacher. But you find that there are challenges along the way. I don't know whether it's inevitable, but I think we can do something about it. You find that most of the people who start the journey in primary 1, by the time they sit examinations after 7 years, we have about 800 learners from 1.5 or 5, slightly above. But you find that in the 7 years, they have dropped out of school. We have been talking about it many times, and that some of us think that even the neighboring countries, when they have challenges and they are running to come as refugees, those children come with them, and later on they have to go back with their parents. That's one of the challenges. But also we have also other areas which we can say we could maybe handle ourselves. And one of that is happening, that children drop out of school deliberately, and at times they are supported by the parents. I remember going to one of the districts in Busoga, And we had been alerted through a newspaper that about two-thirds of the children, the learners, had run out of school and they were at home. And the parents were not happy. We are happy because as they were at home, they would also go and start join the people who cut sugarcane. And we requested that also we meet the parents when we are going, and we met the parents, but they were saying, yes, we allow them to go because we don't have the money. We cannot even buy stone. So these children in primary, from primary 5 to 7, had gone out of school. And we had to talk to the parents. I mean, they had the LC team, the chair and his team, and even we had to remind them about the Children's Act, where the vice chair at every level, whether LC 1, 2, and 5, whatever it is, they are supposed to be in charge of the children. But they see them and they are saying, yes, what do we do? If the parents also support, agree. So there's a lot of sensitization that we have to do, maybe to have a change from what is happening right now. As we talk about it, also we have the other challenge that also we have the girl child who drop out of school, and there are many because of not having the right, maybe, pads or what to use during the time when they are menstruation. So that one is also a big challenge. Recently, I felt so bad when I was told of a place, I will not mention, but they were telling me that the girls there get pants and they cut in between and put in sand so that they can go to school. I don't know whether it's not part of the reasons why we have also the diseases that are escalating, like I would say, maybe I leave it, but you find that such things, they are bringing us problems because if the girl is moving and they are rubbing on sand, we expect something to happen grave. So it's also important, and the health team, I know out there, they should also help us. Otherwise, some of the diseases, when they mention, when you go to, for example, to Mulago, the people who are dying, even the youth, there are so many of late. So maybe we need to put our heads together to see what is it that can be done. Then the other issue that I can talk about here without taking a lot of time because I'm turning bad, we are supposed to be somewhere else, is the issue of what do we send down per child? Yes, there was an increase, but are we sure that that's managed enough? Because we came from 10,000 per year, and it was moved on to about 13. Let me say, it was 10,000, but now 13. Is it enough to run a school? So some of the things also challenge us, and when we say all of us should be concerned, indeed we should be concerned about what is happening. But also what I don't normally forget is that we have head teachers who are caretakers in the schools, and their deputies, in many times, the deputies have been interviewed, but someone, because was a person who was so close to someone who went through as a politician, and now has been rewarded. And that person does not know anything. He has been a teacher, but he does not know what is happening, he has not been helped to know what his work should be, but they are there, and they are very many in primary schools. They are very many, but we keep talking about it, but people think that it's normal, because all along, I'm one of those who have been talking about it, but they are continuing to encourage them to do the work. And yet at the end, when time comes to retire, they will never get that money that you were a caretaker. So we are using people who don't know properly what should be done. So those are some of the things that I think I can talk about now. But I want to thank everybody, the organizers, and particularly also the theme of today, promoting support for quality education. How do we have to attack from different angles if we are to achieve? Because there are areas where everybody can come and say, if I cannot do this, then I will help here, and so on. So I thank you so much for inviting me, and may the good Lord bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Margaret, and that's quite insightful. The interesting bit here is that we are hearing from teachers who are hands-on on matters education, and your submission really is weighty. So let's now hear from Professor Mugaga, the principal, School of Education, Makerere University. The question remains, what would it take to ensure all children are learning and realizing their full potential? I am kind of privileged because I also hail from a background of teachers. My both parents were teachers, so I'm in the right place. Professor Mugaga, please take it up.
Yeah, thank you very much. I also appreciate the members who invited me, all protocol observed. I'll jump into the question immediately, and I'll give about 4 insights. Number one, COVID-19 showed that our parents do not know what to do. A study by the Makerere Center for Teaching and Learning Support revealed that close to 70% of Ugandan parents do not know how to parent. And by implication, they cannot help their children to learn. So if we want to make sure that all our children learn, we should have programs which specifically target parents to teach them how to get involved in their learners or in their children's learning. And also to know that learning is not only tuition or paying the basics. Cognizant that in Uganda, close to 80% of the children do not go to ECD. It's only 40% who access. So there is a need to reorient and take parents back to their role of parenting and also initiate. There is a big diverse terrain which varies from various areas of Uganda. So there is a need for us to develop a model which can accommodate all parts of Uganda, specifically to certain areas. Karamoja should have its own, Northern its own, Buganda its own, and that also will be reflected in the exams. The number 3, we should develop a pedagogy specifically to specific areas. And also maybe NCDC would develop teaching materials, teaching and learning materials for specific areas of Uganda. Of course, what I know, NCDC develops generic materials for the whole of Uganda. But again, when you look at the names, the examples, many of them target areas which are affluent and not specific to all areas. Then the other issue is decapitation. capitation given to a school in Kampala, the UPE, is the same amount given to a school in Nakapiripiriti. And yet we know that parents in Kampala, maybe in certain areas, are able to secure certain things than other parents. So I think there is need for us to be intentional. And when we are intentional, it means we are able to look at specific problems for specific areas, other than taking a generic issue which cripples and then mostly favors the urban and peri-urban areas, other than the rural, which in most cases is ignored. Thank you very much. Hello?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, that's my submission.
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
interesting input from Professor. We really want to thank you very much, and we have a huge takeaway from your submission. I want to thank you deeply, and as we move to the next speaker, we want to thank everyone who has come on board. Hello?
I have now connected. This is Grace Baguma. I was having
Yes.
technology problems, so if you could repeat the question, I am on because I need also to attend to other issues.
Grace, we are really privileged to have you, and may I ask you to take it on immediately. We are asking, what can help our children to learn? At least you are the center of learning.
I think we have to have a holistic approach to issues and not to leave learning to only education and education ministry. I'm glad that the people who have spoken prior to me have also said that the parents are at the center. They are key in making sure that the children learn. Much as the government provides the curriculum, yes, the curriculum is a framework. And we have the principle of lifelong learning, that the child continues to learn in the environment at home, as he walks, as he sings, as he goes to church. So in the spirit of lifelong learning and continuity and learning how to learn, we need to switch to teaching children more of how do you learn how to learn. Not to come and say, this is the content of integrated science, learn it as it is. No, there is technology, the world has evolved, and the child can learn as much as they can, and they can access as much information. There is AI and all that. So the education will now have to tilt right from nursery to instead focusing on how do I get information? How do I use AI to learn? So that we do not come and say, these are the 10 topics that you need to learn. You can have a framework, but the learning is a continuum. And we have to focus on that. Then, also the entire community. Why do we think that learning should learn only at the school and you send the children, go to the school, that's where you'll get this, that's where you learn how to cook, that's where you learn how to bathe yourself. Why can't the community and the homes start with it like it used to be? So the focus is not on how much we have spoon-fed you in the school curriculum, is on how we are prepared you to be a problem solver, to be a critical thinker, right from early childhood. I submit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baguma. I'll invite Mr. Patrick Kaboyo to come in and also share your input.
Yes, thank you very much, Simon, for the opportunity. Congratulations, Dr. Goret and team, for this milestone. I would like to say that the topic we have, what would it take for learners to learn? And for me, really, I would want to speak to about 4 key points that one, Professor Mugaga talked about it. Intentionality, objectivity, proportionality, and aligning our interests. For example, the interest of the teacher should be that he should be able to be in the classroom to teach these learners, to assess them, but to also give them remedy. Oftentimes, you'll find that these teachers are present, but they are not with the learners because their mental faculties are elsewhere, because they have issues of motivation, they have issues of presence, but not on the task. So the other issues that panelists have not talked about to do with a balanced remuneration of a cadre of teachers in our classrooms. And this I'm speaking about the teachers of arts and the disparities that exist in the cadre of officers that are paid. If somebody is paid 4 million and the other is paid 600,000, do you expect them to have the same intrinsic and extrinsic motivation to deliver? So the intention here should be that motivation should be of essence. The other is thinking outside the box. When you read the NRM manifesto, they really pledge in the 2021-2026, there is a pledge for a meal, provision of food for the learners, and they go ahead to say that when this food is provided, it will also become an avenue for parents to have the market for their agriculture. But we know that that food has not been given and the 5 years are elapsing soon. So for me, the food that these learners should have in their stomachs will help them to settle in class, but also grow with some nutrients that help them to undertake tasks in class. The other issue is on infrastructure. Infrastructure, I would like to talk about both the hard and software infrastructure. Oftentimes you'll be in the bank and they will tell you that, oh, there is no network when you need a transaction. But this network resonates so well with the absence of learning tools that these learners need. The earlier speakers talked about lifelong learning and technology. You can only have that if you have internet coverage across the country. What stops all schools to have internet so that learning can be facilitated by that very tool that we need to fit in the 21st century? And still on the infrastructure, if we really have the good weather gifted by nature as a country, you know that we have cool weather with a lot of sunshine, but you find that all schools have not power facilitation, there is no solar connectivity, there is no electricity. And these are the factors that support teaching and learning because they make learning interesting. Learners should be able to see, to visualize, to imitate, to observe, and to replicate where the teachers are teaching. I've also heard that there is a proposal to amend the Local Governments Act to include some sections, but this should be the opportunity that the money for local governments in a way gets ring-fenced at the district so that when they have resources collected, they should maybe remit a certain percentage back to the center, but they should be able to retain some money to facilitate teaching and learning process because learning is continuous, it does not stop. But if you have local governments where the bulk of education is delivered and they do not have resources, both human and financial, including time, then we shall not be meaning what we are saying in this meeting for the launch of this good strategy. So for me, the magic bullet should be doing things differently because if you listen to other speakers, these are the same things that you will hear even next year when we are reviewing or making further input. But what should we do differently? Let's get out of the box, kick it out from where we are, and have the money put where it should be. And this should be resonating well with the song that Bebe Pool sang, Take a Center Wolava. So Wolava is the education of these children who are going to be the bulk of the human capital, of the resource, of the backbone that we need to replace the Professor Mugagas, they should not be Kampala children, but children who are born from Koboko, from Moyo, from Kisoro, across. And finally, let all those good proposals that Professor talked about be integrated in the ongoing curriculum reform and review. So with that, I congratulate you once again and thank you for the invitation.
Wow, wow, wow. Quite amazing. Thank you very much for that very strategic advice. We want to tap into it, and I believe the educationists and everyone concerned is taking note. May I invite Mr. Raymond Obiayo Mbere, the Arua City Education Officer. What is your reality check? What can we do to ensure that our children are learning and realizing their full potential?
Thank you very much, Simon. And thank you, the panelists. And I'd like to congratulate Uwezo for this milestone. And I want to thank you for having trust in me to be among the panelists. I want to appreciate people who have spoken and the contributions that they have made to this important question: how can we ensure that they are learning? One, I want to concur with the Professor Mugaga. He will forgive me if I have not pronounced the name well. When he actually said we need to go away from Yun model, because sometimes statistics speaks volumes, but it can also hide certain facts. One of the big challenges we have now, away from Kampala, away from some of those areas where children are not learning, is the inadequate infrastructure. Indeed, when Kaboy was talking, he concentrated on the internet, he concentrated on electricity, but there's this one big infrastructure, the classroom. They are not there. As Arua City, we have 70 public primary schools. And I lack 1,154 classrooms to have a pupil classroom ratio of 1 to 53. And indeed, because of that deficit alone, you will just notice that all the classrooms are congested. And where the classrooms are congested, giving individualized attention to the learners becomes a very huge task. And yet, as a country where the additional infrastructure are limited. The chair who launched the project here of Education Committee said the country is focusing on security. And yet, by the children not learning, we are actually widening the scope of insecurity in this country. So one of the biggest ways of helping them to learn is really to focus on infrastructure and make sure that we create the environment that the children need in learning. The second one was already alluded to by Kaboyo, the motivated teacher. Kaboyo is focusing on science art teacher in the secondary, but in the primary, where we are talking about the low learning achievements, where it is very profound, the primary school teacher is earning 400,000 shillings. And this 400,000 shillings has been around for a while. And this, because there is no hope for increase, has demotivated this teacher. And therefore, physically, you may see the teacher is around, but emotionally the teacher is not in the classroom, and emotionally the teacher is not teaching the learners to acquire these competences that we want them to acquire. So we need to do something about motivating the teacher. And then the third one is related to the teacher, because we have all agreed there can never be a better quality education than the quality of the people who are handling the education system. I'm one of those persons who welcomed the teacher policy, the focus on making sure we have all our teachers who are teaching our children acquiring bachelor's degree. This was a move in the right direction, because really we need a competent teacher to help to teach our children very well. And we think by helping these teachers to read more, to be trained in more advanced ways, they can be able to do research using internet and many other things that they can use to help our children to learn. So really, the teacher policy, if we quickly approved the act and made sure that what we are supposed to be implementing under that act are implemented, we will be taking the children of this country to another level. We'll be helping them to learn. So here we have a policy which is saying, let us upgrade. And this upgrading, the way currently it is being handled, leaves out many teachers, whereas government has provided funding to help teachers upgrade. Some of those other costs now limits the teacher from upgrading. And this puts a lot of stress on our teacher. The teachers we are working with have a lot of stress. When you go to supervise them, to mentor them, to support them to do their work, they are overwhelmed by what they go through. And that affects the teaching. Maybe one of the strategies through Uwezo that we should employ is really to support this teacher emotionally. That if our partners can come to our aid and support the teacher emotionally and help to do his or her work, when he or she is given some emotional support, I think we'll go a long way in trying to improve the strategies. Otherwise, I want to thank you and appreciate Uwezo for this strategy, and I pray that it will support us in promoting the quality education that we all are yearning for as a country. Thank you very much.
I thank you very much, Mr. Bere, and what a moment. Very, very instructive submissions. I want to thank you all, and I would love to hand over back to my co-host to take it up. Thank you to the virtual audience, and thank you to Uwezo.
Thank you very much, Simon, for that wonderful session, the panel. I believe we have all learned some things here and there from the different speakers that have shared their experience, shared their views on the current and future of education in Uganda. And I believe we agree with some, and maybe we could add more into what they have said. I want to thank those that have put their comments, their views in the comment section. Please, if you can, run through the comment section and read what people are sharing about the question that Simon has been posing to the panel. That all of us participate in the panel and give our views. That's the nature of a virtual session. I want to move straight to the next session just to save time. And the next session will be led by my sister, Judith Nyakisiki. I prefer to call her Nyakisiki because it sounds better. So I want to call upon Nyakisiki to lead the next session, which is the second last, just to set the expectation on how much more time we would need from the participants. So over to you, Judith.
Thank you so much, MC, Mr. Modern Karema. Thank you so much, everyone online and here present. So this session, really, we are going to hear from our selected friends or partners presenting all our partners at different levels, looking at a district, looking at national, regional, and global level. So we have a few partners, selected partners that are going to represent all the friends, all the partners out there. So we'll take each one of them, we'll really take 1 to 2 minutes to hear from them a word of counsel that having been with us for a very long time, having been with us through all this journey, so it would be nice to hear from our partners. So we go straight to Mr. Emi Zumlamai, who is the Executive Director, Fitch. Fitch is a Foundation for Inclusive Community Health based in Oyam. So Mr. Zumlamai is going to represent all our district partners, and he's also on Really Uganda board. So let's hear from him and a word of counsel from him.
Thank you very much, Judith, for this warm welcome, and congratulations, Uwezo Uganda, for the wonderful strategy launch. We hope that is going to help shape the education sector. So as a leader in Uganda civil society space that represent community-based initiatives, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative impact of Uwezo Uganda through its initiatives and scientific reports that actually present several evidences. And today I share how Uwezo as an organization has fundamentally changed perspectives across multiple levels of our education system. But most importantly, Uwezo Uganda has emerged as the leader of learning for peer organization and grassroots movements throughout Uganda. So through rigorous evidence generations and advocacy, you have demonstrated how research drives meaningful change. In both practice and policy, we have heard from the previous speakers. So your commitment to creation ensures partners don't just participate, but truly on the intervention through help designed. So I am really glad that Uwezo has really improved and has put down as a strategy to involve the community organizations, especially the district partners that actually help to co-create and design the program that Uwezo runs. So even the strategy that we are launching today, we have been actively participating in designing, interacting, and trying to see how it works. So I define Uwezo Uganda as exceptionally organized, crystal clear on the mission that they're pursuing, and also possessing unparalleled understanding of Uganda education landscapes and the broader regional context, because Uwezo works across the region. As a district partner, we have learned through co-creation, but also with other partners across the country. So your work transcends boundaries and speaks to universal education challenges. So the influence of your work cannot be overstated. Development partners, community-based organizations based in different districts in Uganda, and government officials consistently reference Uwezo Uganda reports when addressing literacy issues, numeracy, and life skills as well. So your research has become the foundation for engagement with the communities, the parents, the donors, and then the leaders that are tasked to support this intervention, so at all levels. So now my word of counsel as well is that as you launch this strategy, celebrating these achievements, remember that with great influence come with great responsibility. Stay grounded in the communities you serve and partnership you have built over time. As you engage with high-level stakeholders, never lose sight of the child in the rural classroom. Remember that the district partners work with children in the rural places and marginalized and children left behind. So who struggle to read and calculate simple mathematics. So maintain your independence, integrity, your credibility is your greatest assets. So continue to challenge the status quo as you have been doing, even if it seems to be uncomfortable for systems, but also for some individuals in power. Finally, invest in the next generations of researchers that you work with so that they become the advocate and continue promoting the legacy that Uwezo has already created. Thank you very much for honoring, and again, congratulations for this launch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for the word of counsel. Lots to learn, especially the work we do at district level. Thank you so much for representing all the district partners. And a lot of work is really happening down there. We'll go straight to our counterparts in Tanzania, that is Uwezo, Tanzania. Mr. Barak, I would be happy to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining in. Over to you, Mr. Barak. Barak is the Executive Director of Uwezo Tanzania, and would be happy to hear from him.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me today in this historical moment for Uwezo Uganda. I'm very much pleased to join you. And from our end as Uwezo Tanzania and Tanzania counterparts that are working closely with Uwezo Uganda, first and foremost is to congratulate you for this great milestone. It takes a lot of work to bring the ideas and vision of the organization into one document and internalized it, ready to take off. So for us, what we can say, we are committed to continue partnering with you. Your work in evidence generation is evident. Former speaker was talking about the evidences of your work in Uganda. On my end, I would want to recommend the evidence of your work in East Africa and your contribution to the Global South movement in terms of data generation and outcome in the region. So we'll keep partnering with you, and many more partners I hope that will join your work, because it is very evident that is what the 21st century needs. Everything requires evidence to be moved forward. But I've seen that in this meeting, we're joined with the government, people from the government, and this is my call, as other actors are coming in to support the work of Uwezo Uganda. We urge that also the government of Uganda, you support the work. Financially, direct funding, or through support in kind. I've seen the budget that this strategy will take is a bit ambitious, and therefore I am sure the team, the Uwezo team, will also be looking for close support from the government. And in most cases, when the government comes in and support this kind of initiatives, it brings trust, and therefore many actors comes in to support such wonderful works of the CSO work. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in implementing the strategy in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barak Mugahamwende. Very many things to learn from you, as well as the call for action is well noted. Thank you very much. And because of time, we'll go straight to Dr. John Mugo. Dr. John Mugo is the Executive Director at ZISAFRIC, as well as Principal Investigator for Action.
Okay, thank you. I wish to first congratulate. I hope you can hear me, Judith.
Yes, we are hearing you, Dr. John Mugo.
Good, thank you. So I first wish to congratulate the Uwezo Uganda team for this strategy that we've been looking forward to. Goretti and team, congratulations, but also the board of Uwezo Uganda. I'm excited by three things when I go through this strategy. The first one is embedding in context. For the first time, I feel I understand now the context of Uganda and Uganda's education, and why, for instance, it's very different. And our approach has to be very different from what the approach in Kenya or Tanzania. The second is the whole idea that is very well articulated around regional collaboration, that when we come together also, not just as a country, but as a region, then we move faster, because then we open up to another pressure point. So when we went to Arusha, for instance, for the East Africa Community Conference, we saw, when our ministers and our senior government officials are exchanging with each other, there's learning, but there's also another point of pressure and accountability. And the third thing is targeting, being now bold as Uwezo to target improvements in the public education system, so that even if we are doing household and citizen-led, the ultimate price is in how much change is achieved at the system level, because only governments could deliver education at scale. So as ZISAFRIC and as the Action for Life Skills and Values in East Africa, we are welcoming this strategy, and we think we'll be able to collaborate fast. As Alive, Uwezo Uganda is a core partner in this very ambitious regional initiative, where we are trying to shift curriculum, teacher education, and also assessment. And this last bit of assessment is actually Uwezo Uganda's biggest strength. Where ZISAFRIC would seek support from Uwezo Uganda, from Uwezo Tanzania, and Usawa Agenda in Kenya. So I think that retaining that assessment and even moving now beyond literacy and numeracy to embrace life skills and values is something that is of a lot of addition and to Alive. And the second is a new thing around enhancing education research in Africa. We have been seeing that our productivity as Africans in terms of global research contribution in education is very low. And so I'm excited, again, by seeing research as the second pillar of this strategy after assessment. I'm excited that through this, we may achieve better connection and impact on communities, so that we are not just researching to get data and evidence, but the ultimate change of that our research must achieve must be visible in schools and communities. So if we are partnering with Chambago University or Makerere or other universities, then the communities around those, how will the university be held to account for their research they are doing in adding value to the communities first where they are based and moving out to the whole society? And the second is democratizing research dissemination. I see research dissemination and communication as a core element here, and thank you for that, Uwezo Uganda. How might we add more ways of, disseminating research beyond just academic publication in ways that can count as a research output? And I know Uwezo has a huge capacity for leading the space and challenging the decolonization of who decides what is published or what is called a publication. It will have to be ourselves rather than somebody else seated in London or other places. And the last thing is around capacity and productivity of us as researchers first, but also of research institutions. How can we ensure that the assessment results, the research results are contributing to better capacities for research, but also for greater productivity? So we welcome this strategy, and we want to wish Uwezo Uganda and all of us all the best in implementing this strategy. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. John Mugo. Very, very important. Regional collaboration makes things move faster. We are getting that and putting it together. So we shall move very quickly to Mr. Ali Amando, the Executive Director, People's Action for Learning, that is PAL Network. Very quickly to you, Mr. Ali Amando, and we'll be able to have this closed.
Thank you, Judith, to Goretti and the team, Uwezo Uganda, congratulations for this strategy. It's really a remarkable milestone. And the presence of the key stakeholders in Uganda is a testament of the importance that your organization is playing in improving the chances of more children to learn and thrive in life. When Dr. Fred Lusambu, in representation of the board, was mentioning the question that Uwezo Uganda started in 2008, Our Children Learning, it reminded me of the shift that question made in the global discussions about quality of education. In a time where everyone was just concentrated in getting children into schools, that question really drove a shift to also start thinking on what children are getting out of school. And we want to thank you for your contribution for the global discussions in education and this shift to quality that is very important. And when Goretti was presenting the strategy, I also noticed that the problem is still there. We know that our children are going to school, but they are not learning. And again, as Dr. Mugo mentioned, I was very happy to notice that your strategy has research as one of the pillars. So his assessment, his research, his engagement, and influence. And I remember what Goretti was saying, that there are already a few partners at the district level that are using the evidence to find local solutions for their problems. I think the challenge that we have as a movement is now to see how we try to find the reasons on why our children are not learning and equip our communities to use the evidence and find local solutions to the problems. I think that is the step that collectively we need to take. And finally, just to finalize, I just want to remind you, Uwezo Uganda, that you are not just an asset for Uganda, you are a global asset. So we are expecting that you continue informing not just the society in Uganda, not just the East Africa region, but the entire globe on what we need to dig more to understand why our children are not learning and what it needs to be done to solve this problem. I know the valuable contribution you give to the PAL network. I remember when you send people to Mozambique to teach us how tests can be developed, and we still believe that you can continue providing that support to other PAL network members, to other organizations in the world that want to understand if our children are getting the desired outcomes from going to school. Many, many congratulations to you. We strongly believe on you, and we are waiting for your continued support to this global South movement to improve foundational learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali Armando, and thank you so much for the words of counsel, everyone, at different levels, at national, district, and regional level, where we operate and work closely. Thank you very much, and we've taken note all the contributions that we have highlighted. Thank you very much. Over to Modan for the next session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nakisiki, for running us through that session. And I want to thank very much the participants that are online. We are 10 minutes outside the time we thought we would finish this session, but people are still online. We have actually lost only 3 people since we started, which means there is a lot of buy-in to understanding where Uwezo is going, the issues that Uwezo is handling. So really, thank you, Uwezo, for keeping us online. It's not easy keeping people on after 10 minutes after the time that they had originally planned to be on. So that means there is great buy-in in understanding the issues. So we'll go to the last session. And so since you have already stolen 11 minutes of your time, allow me to steal another 3 that will give us take us to the end of the session. Secretary, to help me and punch into the chat box the evaluation link. So they are going to share the evaluation link in the chat box. Please, in the remaining 3 minutes, try and put in some feedback on what you have learned, what you could have done better, things like that, so that now we know how to improve going forward. And with that, I will invite my other sister from Uwezo, and that's none other than Farida. I will invite you to come in, give the vote of thanks, and also do the conclusion as the members fill in the evaluation form. Over to you, Farida.
Thank you very much, Modan. A good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen who are connecting in. I would like to give my vote of thanks as we draw to the close of this event, where we have launched our strategy. I wish to extend our deepest gratitude to all of you, our distinguished guests, board and advisory committee, our partners who fund us, and those who support and enable us do the work that we do, our partners locally and regionally that we collaborate with. We thank you so much for taking the time to be part of today's strategy launch. Your presence has not only honored us, but has also reaffirmed the shared commitment we all hold towards promoting support for quality education for all, which happens to be our tagline for the strategy that we have launched today. To our keynote speakers and panelists, thank you so much for your insightful contributions and for sparking meaningful and thought-provoking issues that will guide us as we deliver our strategy moving forward. We have learned quite a lot from the comments that have come in the chat. And we do believe that as we continue to deliver our strategy, we shall have them as memorable issues to handle as we move henceforth. A special thank you goes to our collaborators and our implementing partners, both locally and regionally, as well as globally, whose dedication and support have always played a key role in the work we do. And we further look forward to that collaboration and partnership in shaping this strategy. Your shared vision and tireless efforts have brought us to this significant milestone, which we wouldn't have delivered without all of you. To the government representatives, policymakers, various stakeholders, your continued support has strengthened the relevance and potential impact of this strategy. We look forward to continued collaboration as we work towards delivering this strategy. to the organizing committee and everyone working behind the scenes. We thank you so much for having ensured today's event is a success. We know there are always hiccups here and there, but it has really been one good event. And lastly, to each of you in the audience, thank you so much for your presence, your attention, and your belief in the work we are doing. It wouldn't have been without you for us to move this far, but also for you to join in and even take in a few extra minutes to still be connecting in. We hope you will journey with us together as we turn this strategy to action and eventually into impact. We would love to hear from you still regarding today's event as Modern communicated. Please give us the feedback using the link in the chat so that you can be able to help us evaluate this today. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you for joining in, and do have yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Modern, and back to you.
Thank you, Farida, and thanks, Uwezo team. So because we have taken a lot of your time, we have given ourselves a punishment on our side as Secretariat by preparing a traditional dance that we are going to present to you as you fill in the evaluation form. So can I ask the Secretariat to please play the traditional dance so that people can enjoy themselves as they do the evaluation and as we enjoy ourselves. Over to you, Secretariat. Please fill in that evaluation. It's important for the center, the Secretariat. Thank you very much. Secretariat, in this case, Nyakesi, can you confirm that the link has been sent to everybody? Because I have a feeling it has been sent to hosts and panelists. Can you confirm that everybody has got the link? There's somebody asking for it in the chat. Nyakisiki? Good, thank you. So it seems everybody has got the link. Please try as much as it's a short one. So just put in some feedback so that yeah, that's better. So that everybody at the organizing side knows how to handle going forward. So please use the last one that has just been posted to everyone. And after you have put the link, after you have filled in the link, you're free to log out. We thank you very much for your feedback, for your time, a lot of time, almost 2.5 hours. Thank you very much, and God bless you.